started to keep everybody's
Perfect.
schedule on track here. We might hopefully get some more people jump on in a few minutes, but let me just get this off my screen. Okay, sorry for me being so close to everybody. Hi, I'm Lisa Twilley. I'm the director of the Women's Business Center. Thank you for getting on today. We appreciate it. And just to give you a little bit of information about us and what we do, we assist entrepreneurs that are getting started in business, if they're already in business and trying to expand. We do business consulting, marketing consulting, training classes such as this. We also do micro and small business loans. And just to let you know, our service area, we cover the entire eastern shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. So we have a couple people on from MCE. We have Bunky, who is with the Women's Business Center. Wave, Bunky. And we have Donna, who is also with MCE and the Women's Business Center in Baltimore. So we're going to let Sophia take over now. Sophia Smecker, she has does our marketing consulting and a lot of the marketing classes that we do, she teaches. So we appreciate her knowledge and sharing that with us. So take it away, Sophia.
Oh, well, awesome. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well today. Like Lisa said, my name is Sophia Smecker, independent marketing consultant. I've been working with Maryland Capital Enterprises and the Women's Business Center for some time now. And I've been working with them to teach a series of social media and marketing webinars, all focused around your business while we are kind of mid-pandemic here and recovering from the pandemic. So today's webinar is about building your Facebook and Instagram presence mid-pandemic. There's a lot to kind of uncover, and whenever I kind of teach these social media classes and webinars, realize that everybody's kind of at different levels when it comes to social media. So what I like to try to do is to kind of stop periodically and to see kind of what questions there are. And then, of course, going to try to leave some time at the end for questions as well. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen so we can get started for today. All right. There we go. All right, awesome. So building your, let's see, oh, hold on one second here. Trying to swap my views here. There we go. Awesome. Okay. So building your Facebook and Instagram presence mid-pandemic. So like I said, I think everyone kind of on the call, I'm sure, is at different levels when it comes to Facebook and Instagram. So going to try to leave some time in between for some questions. But this webinar today is going to be all about how to build up your presence, how to build up kind of your social media strategy for these channels and these outlets. So for today's agenda, intro to Facebook. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Facebook is, Facebook for Business. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Instagram. So if you're not familiar with Instagram, Instagram for Business. And then we're going to go into Facebook versus Instagram for your business. So why both may be a good fit, maybe why one or the other may be a good fit, and kind of the benefits to utilizing for your marketing plan for your business. And then lastly, we'll go into creating a social media strategy. So no matter what platform you are on, hoping that this will help you to kind of get started or to refine a little bit your current social media strategy. So first off, just kind of intro to Facebook. So what is Facebook? So if you're not familiar, there are 2.8 billion monthly active users. So I'm pretty sure probably everybody on the call, odds are, is familiar with Facebook or has been on Facebook. But if you're not familiar, it's a free social networking website. And it allows users to create profiles, upload photos and videos, send messages to keep in touch with friends, family, and all kinds of features. So it's an opportunity to get updates on different businesses and brands, news, public figures, celebrities, events, and more. And then there's opportunity for folks to join groups to really kind of connect with each other, which I know that was something that was really big this past year as we were all kind of hunkering down at home. And then you can find all of this in your Facebook news feed. So when you log into Facebook, your homepage is what's called your news feed. So everything that you have liked or different ads and content that Facebook thinks that you will most likely interact with is all served to you within that news feed. So what are the functions of a Facebook business page? So today we're just going to focus strictly on business. Facebook is definitely used by a lot of us for personal, but we'll kind of focus here on business today. So the functions of a business page on Facebook, creating posts. So these posts can be in the form of photos, videos, any sort of content there. You can leave reviews on businesses. You can also directly message businesses. So another kind of form and tool of customer service. Uploading and creating events for your business. And then advertising. There's an opportunity to pay to get your post in front of more users that may not currently be following your page with advertising. So this is some examples of pretty much what the two main types of creative are when it comes to Facebook. So we've got photo posts that are like the Adobe. It's actually an ad, but it is like a post as well. So you'll see that there's the text on top, and then the creative at the bottom, which is the photo. And then additionally, the second most used form of creative on Facebook is video posts. So you'll see the copy at the top, and then you can click this video link to have a video pop up, a 30-second ad for this subscription box. So you'll see at the bottom, there's opportunities for users to engage with the content. So liking, commenting, sharing, hearting. So if you remember a few years ago, Facebook has expanded their like buttons, so now you can react to posts. So smiley face, sad face, heart face, all of that, and that's just another way and form to interact and engage. So that's a little bit about Facebook. Wanted to stop and see any questions there. I figure everyone's probably pretty familiar with Facebook. Cool. So I'll go ahead. So intro to Instagram. So Instagram is the behind Facebook. This is the second most utilized social networking website for businesses. So if you're not familiar with Instagram, just like Facebook, it's a free social networking website, and it's used for primarily sharing photos and videos. It's got about 1.8 million less users than Facebook. So right now there's only 1 billion kind of registered, but pretty big for being the second largest social media platform. Instagram is owned by Facebook. So Facebook bought Instagram a few years ago. And then, this social media platform is highly visual. So folks post videos, they share stories and reels, which are two features which we'll talk about in a minute. And pulling up some stats about Instagram, 90% of people on Instagram follow some sort of business. So if you are a business owner or a marketer, it's a great way to be able to reach an audience. And Instagram is really used a lot by social media influencers. So these are folks that are on the internet and on these social sites that they are recommending a product or trying to kind of sell a product. So you'll kind of see a lot of that on Instagram. All right, and then two of the main kind of features of Instagram, besides uploading photos and videos, so we'll talk a little bit about Reels and about Stories. So Reels is a feature that was made available just, I think, last year, so kind of newer. But basically, it's an opportunity for users to be able to create kind of video montages of content. So you'll see here are some kind of examples. And really, if you are kind of like, up in the news and kind of know a little bit about social media, Reels was actually created by Instagram as a competitor to the social media platform TikTok. So if you remember last year, TikTok kind of had surfaced into the world, and it's a platform that's used by a lot of kind of the more younger generation. So Reels was created as a way to kind of compete with TikTok. So you can scroll on Reels within Instagram, and it's basically like montages of videos.
Yeah, Sophia.
Yeah.
Could you just comment briefly, how do you think that Reels is holding up against something like TikTok? Because I noticed like my daughter and her generation really use TikTok a lot. And
Yeah.
I was just sort of curious how those two were doing, or is TikTok still sort of reigning supreme in that area, or?
Yeah, I would say TikTok is definitely reigning supreme. A lot of businesses haven't necessarily like delved into TikTok just yet. Instagram is more utilized for like smaller businesses. And Reels just hasn't really like caught up to like the success of what TikTok is. And I think TikTok, in general just has that kind of younger audience. So, as like a business owner, like an entrepreneur, TikTok can definitely be like a way to kind of reach like a new audience.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, not utilized as much as Instagram is for like businesses and marketing.
No, I can totally see what you're saying about like the younger, if you're trying to reach a younger crowd too, like TikTok would be good. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then there's Instagram stories. So Instagram stories, this is a way for you to post content that lives kind of within your like profile, and folks that follow you are able to see it. And it's content that lives on for 24 hours. So you'll see kind of at the bottom here some examples of like stories. And Facebook actually has a stories feature too, and you're able to connect the two, so you can share your Instagram story on Facebook as well. Just another way for folks to get their content out there. And stories has really kind of caught on because, especially when we think about brands and celebrities, folks are really wanting to see the content that they're posting because it's only available for a limited time. And there's definitely some fun things that you can do with stories, just like Reels, add on, music. You can kind of overlay text and emojis on there too. So that's Instagram kind of in a nutshell of what it is. That was a good question, Donna. Does anybody else have any questions about Instagram or Facebook? moving along. So why use social media marketing? So we talked a little bit about what these two large platforms are and how businesses can utilize the different features. So here I would say are kind of like the 6 top reasons why social media should be included in your businesses or your brand's marketing plan. So the first one being increased brand awareness. So we talked about the large audience that is on social media and specifically Facebook and Instagram in general. There's definitely an opportunity to be able to reach an audience that you may not have reached before. So creating more awareness for your brand. Or building engaged communities and engaging with folks that do currently like your business or follow your business or your brand. So this is where your audience is most likely living on social media of some form. So it's a great opportunity to utilize social media to create brand awareness, to get in front of users. And then also to build up and engage communities. So, you can see with content features like reels and stories, and then just Facebook posts like in general, there's tons of opportunities for folks to be able to comment, on what you're doing, to share, to like, to react. And in addition to kind of building up those engaged communities where folks are following what you are doing, and that being kind of a platform to be able to get your messaging out there. There's definitely some opportunities to measure brand sentiment through social listening. And social listening is basically tracking and analyzing any sort of like engagement that you're getting. So seeing how many followers you have, reading comments, reading reviews, kind of tracking and analyzing all of those. So, very much, one of the biggest things for social media marketing for a business owner is that you're able to really see kind of firsthand and in real time your brand sentiment and what people are saying about you. So a little bit different than other forms of traditional marketing like TV and radio and things like that. And then additionally, as you're building up engaged communities, you're measuring brand sentiment. You're also able to interact with these folks and your followers and customers one-on-one. So it's a great kind of tool for customer service. So reading your reviews, answering direct messages sent to your business. It's another way for businesses to be able to interact directly with their customers. And then, kind of the 2 last things here, opportunity to sell your products and services. So there's plenty of opportunity with the features that Facebook and Instagram has now to be able to sell your items directly off of Facebook. So I know a lot of small businesses do that, whether it be through Facebook Marketplace or, integrating your Shopify website. So definitely opportunities there to kind of sell the products and services that your business offers. And then lastly, advertising, being able to reach a new audience. So Facebook and Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, has really like immense and super detailed targeting and thousands of options for you to be able to reach your perfect kind of target audience, or to reach a new audience that you have never met before. So being able to reach people based upon their demographics, psychographics, geographics, where they live, their interests, their age, their education level, all different kind of things. And that targeting is something that has been probably one of the most attractive things to businesses when they're thinking about their marketing plan and their advertising budget. And then just kind of Facebook versus Instagram for business. So, why would you want to use Facebook versus Instagram, or why may you want to use both? So, we talked a little bit about the features of both Facebook and Instagram, and what you can utilize them for. Facebook being really the most robust when it comes to the content that you're able to put out there, being able to share events, sell your products and services, leave reviews and things like that. And then Instagram being kind of like very visual and very like visually appealing when you have the opportunity to share really unique and creative photos and video content. So kind of looking into demographics. It's interesting to see that, Facebook really kind of scales a little bit older. You may have, like Donna mentioned, her kids, you may have some family members, kids, whoever that's like, I would never go on Facebook. And right now Facebook is kind of trending 30 plus as their demographic following as far as age goes. And really kind of Instagram is definitely 30 and below. And there's definitely kind of some in between theirs, but when we look at kind of the wide, the bigger picture of what the age range looks like for users on Facebook and Instagram, Facebook is definitely kind of an older audience, whereas Instagram is definitely a younger audience. So it really just kind of depends on your business and who you are trying to target. And that being said, about 76% of businesses utilize Facebook as part of one of their marketing tools versus 65% that are using Instagram. So I definitely see more of the smaller businesses utilizing Facebook versus Instagram. And one of the reasons could be because of just the features and availability of options for Facebook, or some of these things like demographics and these other things that I'm going to talk about in a minute. And Facebook kind of in general is really more informational. Being able to share your specials, your hours of operation, things like that. And Instagram is really for like capturing moments. So if you are a restaurant, for example, you are going to, post your specials and your hours and things like that on your Facebook page versus Instagram, where you would most likely be posting photos and videos of those specials, your food and menu offerings and things like that. So a little bit different as far as content goes. And then engagement rates. So Instagram kind of historically really has a lot higher engagement rates than Facebook. And I think, one of the reasons being that it's very easy to kind of scroll and click pictures versus Facebook, where your newsfeed is a little bit harder to kind of navigate. There's a lot of different kind of content for Facebook, whether it be events that are popping up, ads that are popping up. I think just kind of how Instagram is laid out, it's a little bit easier for folks to be able to engage with photos and videos and things like that. And then especially the fact that they have reels and stories, where it's really easy to kind of get lost, kind of like scrolling with the reels and, looking at the stories, because like I said earlier, people really want to see stories because they're only available for like 24 hours. So engagement rate's a little bit higher for Instagram. We talked a lot about functionality, the differences between, so I'll kind of skip that one. And then reporting. So Facebook is definitely king when it comes to the different insights that you can see about your followers and your page, and being able to report on your content and how it's doing. So for Facebook, you're actually able to see the times that your users are online. You're able to see, where they live. You're able to see if they've liked your page, unliked your page, kind of what they're interacting and commenting on. And Instagram just hasn't really gotten there yet as far as the reporting and insights goes. And I know that that's something they're kind of working on. But Facebook is definitely king, I think, just because it's been around so long as far as being able to see some insights and analytics of your social page. And then lastly, advertising. So definitely, because Instagram is owned by Facebook, Instagram, there's definitely some really great opportunities to be able to utilize targeting, to be able to advertise to your Instagram followers or Instagram kind of network in general. But there's definitely more opportunity to advertise via Facebook. So, and that's kind of dependent on the creative. So, you're able to boost posts on Facebook. You're able to advertise events on Facebook, utilizing the event feature. So just kind of some more different options that Facebook has versus Instagram. And then before we talk about creating your social media strategy, I just wanted to stop there and see if anybody had any questions as we're kind of halfway through here.
I also just wanted to mention if somebody doesn't have a mic, they can always type the question in the chat and I'll read it for you.
Yeah, for sure. And then I will put in at the end my email address too, if anybody has questions you think about later that you want to ask. So creating your social media strategy. So we're going to talk a little bit about kind of this 8-step process to creating your overall social media strategy. And this strategy is really supposed to be, an opportunity for you to be able to apply this to any sort of social channel you have, whether it be Facebook or Instagram, or if you're delving into some other social media platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, kind of et cetera. So we'll kind of jump in here. But this is kind of overall the 8 steps that we're going to kind of talk about for building out your general social media strategy. So first, establishing your goals. Second, learning about your audience. Third, competitive analysis. Fourth, completing a social media audit. Fifth, setting up your accounts. 6, finding inspiration. 7, create a content calendar. And then 8, kind of evaluating your strategy. And those that are on the call here that may have recently or just at some point created a marketing plan for your business, you'll see that a lot of these steps are very kind of reminiscent of that marketing plan, because your social media strategy really should live within the marketing plan for your business. Social media is a tool for you to be able to kind of utilize, within your marketing tool belt. So this kind of strategy should live with that. So we'll go ahead and jump right in to establishing your goals. So this is kind of first with any sort of strategy or plan. What you want to do is kind of figure out, what exactly am I trying to get out of this? What am I trying? What does success look like for me? Am I trying to grow my brand? Am I trying to be able to kind of increase engagement with current followers? So kind of establishing, these SMART goals, as they call them, I think is really important. And, overall, these goals should really align with your overall marketing strategy and the goals in your marketing strategy and your marketing plan. So these are kind of like, I would say that the top 4 as, we talk about business objectives. So, what is the objective? What is the goal that you're trying to achieve with social media? And then what is the metric that you're using to measure? So as we're talking about, SMART goals, being able to kind of track these things so that they're specific, they're measurable, attainable, and all of that. So first one, being able to kind of grow the brand. If that is your business objective, then your social media goal should really be kind of generating awareness. And this is, as they say here, these metrics kind of illuminate your current and potential audience. So being able to just kind of build up that brand and awareness. And the metrics that you would track here are the amount of followers that you have on your pages, and then definitely the amount of shares that you're getting as well. So, how are you getting your brand in front of people? So it's, users that are following your page, and then users that are sharing your page kind of with others to help kind of amplify your brand awareness. So that's the first one here. Second business objective, turning your customers into advocates. And this is, kind of turning your customers into advocates of your business and kind of like influencers of your business. And the social media goal here is really kind of engagement. So this really shows how your audience is interacting with your content, whether it be comments, likes, mentioning your brand, reacting, sharing as well. So these are kind of like the top things that you would definitely want to measure if you are trying to figure out, how is my current audience kind of interacting with my content? How is it performing? And kind of how am I turning my customers into advocates for my business, and also kind of like a long-term customer. Third is kind of driving leads and sales. So conversions. So this is kind of important if you are a business that sells items online, or if you are trying to utilize, email to be able to sell your products or services. So conversions is kind of important. So how many folks or users are you converting, utilizing your social engagement into customers and buyers? So metrics there, website clicks, how many people are clicking to your website from your social media pages, how many folks are signing up via email directly from your social pages. And then lastly, improving customer retention. So how are you getting customers to continue to kind of interact and be an advocate for your brand, and to be the kind of like a long-term customers. So, these metrics reflect how active your customers kind of think about your brand, and also how they feel about your brand. So we talked a little bit earlier about, social listening and being able to know kind of what the sentiment is that your followers have for your brand. And the metrics for this are kind of in term of testimonials of your business, reviews, comments, things like that. And then also, it's important for you to kind of look at the average response time. And this is like when we talked about customer service and utilizing social media to be able to interact directly to answer, questions and concerns, complaints from your customers. So that's a metric that Facebook definitely has as far as your response time for communicating back to a customer that has questions. So that's kind of the first step here is we talk about establishing goals. So figuring out your business objective, figuring out, what your social media goal is, and then the metrics of kind of how are you tracking and following that. And we'll talk about tracking and following a little bit at the end. So learn about your audience. So, this is important kind of as we talk about your target audience. So you want to know exactly, who are you trying to reach? And this will kind of help you as if you're not already on social channels to kind of figure out what social channels you should be on. So really kind of building out like an audience profile. These are, the demographics, geographics, psychographics, behavioral, information that I need to know about the audience that I'm trying to connect with. And these are customers that are most likely to purchase my products and services. So demographics being age, gender, occupation level, education, family status, things like that. Geographics, where does this customer live? So are they local, regional, national? And that really depends, right, on who you are trying to sell to and the reach that your business has. Psychographics, so interests, values, kind of opinions, attitude, lifestyle of your customer. So who exactly is this person, and this is where we're really kind of getting into kind of more like the interest space, like what are they interested in, how are we kind of profiling them. And then lastly, behavioral. So purchase behavior, how often are they purchasing your type of product? Are they a loyal customer of yours? Do they only buy these kind of products and services during special occasions? So all of that kind of things when it comes to behavioral kind of targeting. And you're able to really kind of dig deep into the audience that you're trying to reach by utilizing things like surveys, different data points, third-party info, industry information, and just really kind of doing research in general. And if you have a marketing plan or kind of a business plan, this is probably already really kind of laid out. But this is really kind of important to kind of do this exercise again as you're thinking about your launch into social media. And then third, competitive analysis. So whether you're already on social media or you're planning to launch on social media, it's really great to do kind of a competitive analysis to see, what your direct and indirect competitors are doing online in terms of, content, engagement with the audience that they're trying to reach and what channels they are on. So I would definitely recommend doing, and this was kind of a question on a previous call, like, how many direct and indirect competitors should I be researching as I'm doing my competitive analysis? I think it really depends on kind of your business and how many competitors you have, but I would definitely say probably 3 indirect and 3 direct competitors, and just doing some quick research and seeing these are the social media channels they're on. They're on Instagram, but they're not on Facebook. They're on TikTok, but not LinkedIn. Who are they trying to reach? And you can kind of tell by the content that they're producing, whether it be videos, ads that they're putting out, photos, things like that. It's really important to see the kind of engagement that they're getting too. And then this is, to apply to businesses that are currently on social media. So doing it in audit, what is working and what's not. So if you kind of already do have, social media platforms that you're active on, it's kind of good to do like a self audit and see, I've been posting content for a few years now, what kind of content is my audience engaging with, and what are they not engaging with? Kind of what is working and what's not. What are my strengths as far as social media goes, and definitely what are my opportunities. And if you think about that competitive analysis, that will kind of help you to define a little bit more, what's working and what's not, as you're kind of comparing yourself to your indirect and direct competitors. And taking note of like who's engaging with you, and are they engaging with you? So, are these, loyal fans? Are you garnering new audiences? And this will all kind of help you to create goals. And, we talked about in the beginning, social media strategy, kind of establishing those goals. This is something that will kind of help. You have to look at, where you've been before you look at where you're going. So this social media audit is all kind of part of that. And then, benchmarking based upon those goals, which we'll talk about at the end. So we're halfway through the social media strategy. So we got 4 more steps before we wrap up. And I just wanted to take a quick break to see if anybody has any questions on those 4. We talked about social media audits, goals, competitive analysis, and targeting. Cool. If anybody has any questions,
quiet today.
yeah, if anybody has any questions too, feel free to drop them in the chat, or we can talk about that at the end. Awesome. Okay. So step number 5. So this applies to businesses that don't already have social accounts, but also businesses that do as well. So setting up or kind of refining your accounts. So, we talked a lot about the functionality of Facebook and Instagram, why, social media is a good tool in your marketing toolkit. So, next is kind of establishing, if you're not already on either of those platforms or any social platforms in that matter, setting up your account. So figuring out which accounts are right for you and your business. And accurate information, this definitely applies to every business, whether you aren't on social media and are just kind of starting, or you already have social media channels that you're active on. Making sure your information is accurate is super, super key. So, making sure that your hours of operation is right, your description of your business, the keywords that are associated with your business within your business description. So I would definitely say, whether you are new or already on social, make sure that, you're creating kind of a calendar reminder for every 3 or 4 months or so, to make sure that all of the information in your page is accurate. Because Facebook is definitely utilized as kind of like the yellow books, a yellow book online for folks to be able to find information out about your business. So really important for you to make sure your info is accurate. And then page roles. So, figuring out who is actually going to manage your social pages, whether that be you or kind of multiple people. So figuring that stuff out when you activate and set up your accounts is key too. And then this is one of my kind of favorite steps here, but finding inspiration. So, you are set up on social, or you already have a page set up. So, kind of how are you finding inspiration for what content you're posting? And I think, folks always like ask me, I'm like ran out of stuff to say on like social media. There's definitely no way that you can run out of things to say. And there's plenty of opportunities to reshare thoughts that you've had, promotions and things like that in kind of a new and fresh way. So, whether you are starting new or you're looking to kind of refresh your social strategy and content, kind of two top recommendations for me is checking out like, what are your favorite brands doing? So, you want to create content that folks will most likely, engage with. So, most likely you want to create content that you yourself would engage with. So it doesn't have to be any sort of, brand or business within your industry, but it's great to kind of get inspiration from different industries. So take note of, as you're scrolling, what kind of content you're interacting with, what are you liking, what are you kind of sharing with your friends kind of as inspiration. And then we talked about competitive analysis as well. So definitely a way for inspiration. You don't want to copy what your competitors are doing, but it's good to be aware. So maybe there's kind of an opportunity there to create some content that they are not creating. Or to get some ideas of, it seems like their audience is really engaging with videos. Maybe I should just kind of start posting more videos. Maybe that's an opportunity for me. So these are kind of the two top, I would say, for like finding that like inspiration. And then creating a content calendar. So, how do you organize all of your content together? And this is probably the biggest part of the social media strategy for your business is being able to really kind of execute and deploy those assets in copy and creative. So, I tell businesses that your content calendar does not need to be fancy. It can literally be a planner, like a physical planner that you have. It can be a calendar online, but really kind of creating this like calendar that it's kind of, ladders up to your overall social media strategy and the goals that you're trying to accomplish. So, what is your posting schedule? So what exactly are you posting content wise? Is it a promotion? Is it, just like a simple hello? Is it photos of your products and services? Is it videos, along with the copy that you're sharing? So, we don't just post a photo of something, we create copy along with it. So kind of building that out, what that content and creative looks like within your content calendar. And then frequency. So, how often are you posting, along with what times are you posting? So, this is important to be able to kind of look ahead. So, you're not thinking, oh my gosh, I need to like share a post today. I have no idea what I'm gonna post about. Kind of planning ahead. And again, kind of laddering up to your social media strategy and your goals and what you're trying to kind of accomplish overall. And I think content calendars are super important for businesses that have multiple people that have page roles that are posting within your social channels. So knowing who's kind of posting what and when. And your calendar, doesn't need to be the end all be all, but it's a great, way to be able to kind of get started and get some words on a page. And of course, things will definitely move around depending on, what opportunities there are that kind of pop up. But it's a way to kind of organize your strategy so that it's, it's not last minute and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, we haven't posted anything on Facebook in like 3 months. So definitely kind of an opportunity to stay organized. And then lastly, measuring success. So we talked a lot about benchmarking, SMART goals, how are you laddering up to your overall goals and strategy. So here are some ways to kind of measure, and these are kind of like important depending on what those initial social media goals were that we talked about in step one. So page likes and followers. So how many folks are actually, following your page or like your page. And that's important when we think about brand awareness. Reach. So Facebook allows you to see how many folks you are reaching with your post, which is really important. So it's not just the people that are kind of liking and commenting, but the amount of people that have actually, seen it and how many people you're actually able to reach with your content. Engagement. So, that's your users that are liking, following, sharing, commenting. Super, super important when we're talking about building up business advocates and brand advocates and customers. And then lastly, we talked about this a little bit already. Facebook is definitely king when it comes to insights and being able to utilize and check out the analytics for your social pages. So Facebook allows you to see things like what time users that follow your page are online, to help you kind of figure out the timing of when you should time posts, and being able to see demographics about your audience. So again, measuring success, these different factors really depend on what your overall social media kind of strategy is and your goals. But it's important to continue to kind of measure these things. So, on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, at least being able to measure, this is how many followers I have, and I can see that it's growing or it's not growing, or engagement, this is the kind of type of content that my users are engaging with the most. And this is really going to kind of help you create informed decisions for your content and your overall strategy. And really, don't be afraid to change up your strategy too. So, again, this is, measuring is able to help you kind of make informed decisions on the next step for your business and its social media strategy. So those are kind of the 8 steps. And then I'll stop. We've got about 5 minutes left. I wanted to see if anybody has any questions. And then I'm also going to share, this is the next webinar that I'm hosting and teaching with Maryland Capital Enterprises, the Women's Business Center. It's learning Facebook advertising and insights mid-pandemic. That's on Wednesday, June 16th at 11:30. And we're going to get more, in deep, in depth into Facebook advertising in general and Facebook insights. So we'll kind of specifically look at Facebook. And then I'll put my personal email address in here in case anybody has any questions later. But let's see if anybody has any questions.
Okay, here's one. It says, what are the best days of the week and or times to post? What happened? For most viewing by Facebook friends.
Yeah, so there's definitely an opportunity. I see, Jeannie, thanks for asking. That's a really, really great question. So if you're already on Facebook, there's a way within your insights for you to be able to see the times that your followers are online. So we'll definitely get into that in the next webinar on June 16th. But it used to be that like nights and weekends were like the best time to be able to post content. And now that folks are working from home and our lives has kind of changed a lot due to the pandemic, that these kind of posting times have definitely fluctuated over the years and the months. So it really kind of just depends on your business. I would say definitely like nights and weekends is still like a really good kind of rule of thumb. But it's really interesting to see kind of what individual businesses kind of metrics look like. I'm going to stop sharing too so we can see each other.
Great. And she says, thanks for such a great webinar.
You're welcome. And Lisa, I'll share these slides with you so that you can send them out as well.
Okay, great.
And Bunky, yep.
Does anybody else have more questions? Donna, are you good?
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you
good,
so much,
Sophia.
Sophia. That was awesome.
Yeah,
I
you're welcome.
look, I was just taking notes when I wasn't looking at the camera. It's because I was writing.
I was taking
So
notes.
I always learn something. Even though I get slides, I just learn better writing it down.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I was
everybody's
taking-
definitely on different levels. So if anybody has any specific questions that really like are individualized and pertain to your business, feel free to reach out.
For
Okay,
me,
sounds good. I'm looking
one-
forward to the next one.
I just want to say real quick. I was surprised when you said 90% of Instagram users follow some type of business. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, and I think you know, we've seen social media influencers really take off over the past few years.
Yeah.
And you know, people really just on Instagram, they do want to be sold to, like, you know, whether it be it's from like somebody that they know recommending a product, or they want to be able to buy something directly online. Like, I can't even tell you the countless times I keep seeing things that like pop up in my like Instagram feed over and over and over again, and finally I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy that. Or like, you know, it comes up that like, I need to like purchase something. And then I think
Right.
of that brand because I saw it on like Instagram, and it's so much more visual than Facebook, and there's a little bit of less like clutter. So yeah, it is crazy just really how much Instagram has like taken off when it comes to just being able to like sell your products and services.
Is there an automatic way to, like, if you post on Facebook, it automatically posts on Instagram or TikTok or wherever else you want it to go?
Yeah, you can set up like automatic sharing.
Okay.
So it's definitely set up, or you can definitely set up for stories, and then there's ways to set it up within either platform, or as well as there's different programs like Hootsuite and Buffer, where you're able to kind of set that up for it to do kind of the automatic sharing.
Okay, so you can do it once and it goes across the platforms. That's
yeah,
good.
and I would say, you know, I think the biggest thing here is that if you are a business that, you know, you're able to really sink your teeth and put the time into creating content, you know, if you can create content that's different for Instagram versus Facebook, you're really gonna see that the most engagement, because the content you're sharing on Facebook is just it should just be different than what you're sharing on Instagram, based upon the functionality of the platform. So Instagram is definitely more like visual, so sending more kind of in the moment like photos and pictures and things like that, where Facebook is more informational. But then also too, like, you know, you don't want to kind of be scrolling on Facebook and then go over to Instagram and you're seeing like the same exact thing from a business. You want to be able to see kind of different content. But then again, I mean, it is great for, you know, just building up brand awareness and folks being able to see your messaging and your creative. And if you don't have enough time to be able to like schedule out, you know, specialized and distinct post for each of those, it's definitely an opportunity to kind of like start with sharing.
Okay.
Well, thanks guys. I hope everybody has a nice rest of your day. Again, if you have any questions, my email's in the chat, and hope to see everybody in June.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thanks, Sophia.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.